cells, cell additives, and cell activators. Just what are they and what's the difference between them? Hey guys, it's G, and today we're gonna demystify cells, cell additives, and cell activators. Because people seem to get confused and use them interchangeably when actually they are very specific things. So first let me show you a couple of paintings. You may remember this one from an old Dutch Pro video. This contains cells. Notice the round shape. Notice how it usually has a well-defined edge in the middle of another color. And most importantly, you won't notice that there's no real rhyme or reason to the negative space within the colors. Like there's no pattern or intentionally created by this. Okay, and this will come into play later. So these are cells. Now let's look at this painting. Okay, actually let me bring it a little bit closer. Get this in focus. So again, we have circular shapes, well-defined edges. These are also called cells. Now the difference between this and the previous example is if you look at the pattern created around the cells, notice how it looks like webbing. This is called lacing, not the cells themselves, the white you're looking at here. This lacing is created by a cell activator, and when you use a cell activator, you get this sort of pattern. You get a certain color around all the cells, and then the cells are whatever color you had underneath the cell activator. Now, another very important thing to point out is where exactly you put the element that has a cell additive. So the most popular cell additive is silicone oil. I'm sorry if you can't see the label. Silicone oil is normally used as a lubricant in treadmill oil. If you have casts for resin, they usually have a thin film of silicone on them to help the casts get removed from what they're casting. So the most important thing to note is when you use a cell activator, the cell activator usually goes all the way at the top, and then by blowing or by swiping, you push it, or parts of it sink and create that lacing effect. When you use silicone oil, the color that has silicone oil has to have another color go on top of it. Otherwise, nothing will happen. So to illustrate this, I'm going to show you a painting with silicone and a painting with a cell activator to illustrate the difference. So for my silicone oil painting, I'm going to use these 4 colors and I'm going to do a flip cup. Okay? Just add my colors in here and mix these up. Where is that turquoise? Here's the turquoise. Cyan blue in the last one. Drop in the turquoise, drop in the yellow, drop in the orange. Now, there's a lot of back and forth on, whether you should stir silicone in a lot or a little. I don't really know if I have an opinion on this, but all I know is there's other ways to make cells bigger if you're of the belief that stirring silicone a lot will give you small cells. Tilt them, hook them on the corner and tilt them, or spin them. Anyway, so now we have silicone here, 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 but not here. Now we're gonna layer these in for a flip cup. Okay, now remember, first in is last out. This is standard flip cup practice, okay? So add a little bit of blue, a bit of turquoise, a bit of yellow, And moving it around, maybe flip the order. Turquoise, yellow, blue, orange. You get the idea, okay? Now we're gonna do a flip cup. One thing to note about silicone oil is it's enhanced with heat. It'll really activate the cells. So you'll see now, just as I lift this cup. So you can already see some cells. And if you give it a minute, more will pop up. But look what happens if I use the torch. You see how new cells are forming? So remember what I said, generally round shapes with a clear outline, but there's no consistency in the outline. The outline is whatever. Okay, now the flip side of this is cell activator. Okay, now this time we're going to use what's called the cell activator. The cell activator in the traditional recipe was invented by a lady called Shelley Carruthers in Australia. She invented the Bloom technique, and it uses 3 layers. You have a pillow, which is usually house paint and pouring medium to hold up the colors. Then you have a color puddle. Then you have at the top what's called the cell activator. In the original recipe, the cell activator uses Australian Floetrol, which is an acrylic paint conditioner. And it also has stain conditioner in it. It creates this lacing reaction, and they use Australian Floetrol with preferably Amsterdam paint, but really any medium to high end paint will work. It doesn't have to be Amsterdam. Now in the recipe I'm using, because I can't access Australian Floetrol, I'm using American Floetrol with Minwax Pre-Stain and with Arteza Titanium White. And I'm just going to use the same paints. They might be a little bit too runny for this experiment, but let's give it a go. I also mixed up a custom metallic color that I'm excited to try. Ooh, look at that purple. Cool. How about we go? Let's blow this out. It's maybe one of the worst blowouts I've ever made, but let's spin it first and see what happens. I'll also just hit these real quick. Okay, let's paint out of the way. Just give her a spin. As you can see, as the cell activator is pushed around, it creates that lacing pattern. And then when you tilt or spin, that expands to give you what looks like this, where you normally usually see me painting. So yeah, that's the difference between cells, cell activators, and cell additives. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with somebody who might also find it useful. Don't forget to check out our Amazon store. You'll find all the products I mentioned there. If you need silicone oil or any colors or just need a paint refill, we would highly appreciate it because we make a small commission on your Amazon purchases if you click our link. And if you're not already in our Facebook group, Acrylic Pouring for Beginners, join us there because a lot of us will help you. So, see you there. This was G. See you in the next video.